Now on BBC World News, extensive live coverage and analysis of the UK general election results, presented by David Dimbleby.
Welcome to the BBC's Election Centre. 4 minutes from now, when Big Ben strikes 10, we can legally reveal the contents of this, our exit poll. Until then, our lips are sealed. Tantalising. This election must count as one of the most fascinating, unpredictable ever, with an exciting night ahead of us. All the results are going to come in here to be analysed, and they'll reveal whether David Cameron will return triumphant, or Ed Miliband succeed in driving him from number 10, or whether it'll be a hung parliament making us wait hours or days before we know who gets the key to the door. Jeremy Vine has taken up residence in his virtual world to explain it all.
Welcome to Downing Street, to our virtual Downing Street. Tonight, we'll see how near the winner of this election can get to the very door of number 10. Now, these are the seats won last time. The Conservatives came first, but they didn't have enough to reach this line and govern alone. Tonight, we'll see how close the parties get.
But if neither David Cameron nor Ed Miliband can command a majority on their own, is there going to be a place for the Liberal Democrats at the cabinet table? Or for Nicola Sturgeon's SNP? Or Nigel Farage and UKIP? Or one of the other Northern Ireland parties? 650 MPs to be elected, remember. 650 individual races in the constituencies to send an MP to the House of Commons. Every one of them vital to the outcome. And Emily Maitlis is going to be keeping an eye on all of them.
Well, all that exit poll information is being loaded into our giant touchscreen as I speak. The results of talking to 20,000 people throughout the day just after they voted. In a few moments, I should be able to tell you which seats will be changing hands.
The party leaders voted earlier today, joining over 46 million of us who had the right to do so. And in a few moments, the ballot boxes will begin to be rushed to the counting centres. We have a stellar cast at the key places. Sunderland is tipped to win the race to declare first. And Fiona Bruce is there.
I'm in Sunderland, where with the help of these sixth formers and many more like them from 2 local schools, they hope to bring the first result of the night. That's Houghton and Sunderland South. They've done that for the last few elections and they're hoping to do it again this evening. And what's more, they want to bring that first result earlier in the evening than they ever have before. They have a secret weapon up their sleeve to help them. They're aiming for 10:40. Let's see if they can do it.
And back here in the studio, up there above us, is Andrew Neil, with a bird's eye view of the political scene. He's going to be joined by politicians throughout the night to discover why the election turned out as it did and what kind of government is likely to result.
Yes, I'm up here in the gods to interview a procession of mere mortals and why they won, lost, or just managed a score draw. And perhaps most important of all, what are they going to do for an encore?
Outside Broadcasting House in the centre of London, Sophie Rayworth is standing on a gigantic map of the United Kingdom, a perspective on the political battleground that's been so fiercely fought.
This is our map, which shows exactly where the political power in the UK really lies. We have made every constituency exactly the same size. 1 hexagon equals 1 MP. It is laid out in the colours of the 2010 general election. Shortly, we will take the whole thing up. And then, as the results come in, we will relay it and see how much the power balance has shifted.
Here, Laura Kunzberg will be following reaction on social media of voters and candidates alike, all the gossip and predictions. And the BBC's political editor, who day after day illuminates the political scene, Nick Robinson. So we better get started. First, with our exit poll, which even now I can't reveal until Big Ben strikes 10. Remember, this is an exit poll, very carefully calculated, not necessarily on the nail. But here it is, 10 o'clock. And we are saying the Conservatives are the largest party. And here are the figures which we have. Quite remarkable, this exit poll. The Conservatives on 316. That's up 9 since the last election in 2010. Ed Miliband for Labour, 77 behind him at 239, down 19 from the last election. And the other parties, the Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party. Look at the Scottish National Party. 58 for Nicola Sturgeon. That's every seat but one in Scotland taken by the SNP. Nick Clegg for the Liberal Democrats on 10. That's down 47 from the last election. UKIP, we're saying on 2. Treat that with caution because it's a new entry in a sense in this game. It's difficult to work out in places where UKIP hasn't stood before what it'll be like, but that's what we're saying at the moment. 2 for UKIP. So that's the remarkable scene that our exit poll is revealing. We shall discover when the first results start coming in how accurate it is. But if that is the story, it is a quite sensational story. Nick.
Sensational, David. An extraordinary night if that exit poll is right. Just even as you were reading out those figures, you sensed cries of joy from Conservatives, gloom on the faces of the Labour Party, ecstasy amongst the SNP, misery amongst Liberal Democrats. But remember this, even if the exit poll is broadly right, quite small shifts in those numbers of seats, which is perfectly possible within the margin of error of an exit poll, could produce dramatic changes to who governs Britain next. The Conservatives talked of winning a majority. Very few of them ever believed that possible. They certainly, many of them, didn't believe they'd make gains. But if that exit poll just shifts a bit as we go on, David Cameron may still struggle to find the allies he needs to form a majority government. Ed Miliband would find it difficult, but he would not have to despair. There would still be the possibility of an Ed Miliband-led government. In a sense, this exit poll for everyone, us included, is a form of exquisite torture. It's not enough for anyone yet to know their side has won. It is enough for everyone just to believe there is still a little bit of hope for the side they believe in.
Nick, well, that's a frightening analysis, and we shall see what happens during the evening. Just a reminder of the figures. Here we are. This is the BBC's exit poll, done with others. And remember, 2010 was absolutely on the nail in accuracy. The Conservatives, 316. Labour on 239. The Scottish National Party on 58 out of 59 seats in Scotland. The Liberal Democrats on 10, losing 47 seats from where they were in 2010. Plaid Cymru on 4, 1 gain we're predicting for Plaid Cymru in Wales. UKIP on 2, the Greens on 2, 1 up from what they had last time round. Others are 19, which includes all the Northern Irish seats and I think George Galloway as an independent, probably. So the first question really from that is, what kind of government might we expect from these figures? And let's join Jeremy and see what he's got.
David, thank you, and welcome to our rather noisy virtual House of Commons, where we can actually take those numbers from the forecast and physically put the MPs on the benches for you. So let's have a look here. And I stress, exit poll only. This is a forecast. But here you see the Conservatives up 9, an improvement on 2010 with 316 seats. And you can see David Cameron there just looking rather thoughtful about what happens next. Now, the obvious thought for the Conservatives is to send for the Liberal Democrats. But, of course, the Liberal Democrats have taken some serious damage. Let's have a look. We'll bring on Labour, 239 MPs for them. And there's Ed Miliband watching the Conservative side to see the Lib Dems come on. So here they come. They are down 47. But here's the remarkable thing. This is where Nick was talking about exquisite torture. Look at this. Because they're actually on the line. The line is just down here. 326 is what they need to have an overall majority, and the coalition, Conservatives plus Lib Dems, 316 plus 10, under the exit poll, gets to exactly 326 seats in the House of Commons. Now, of course, it only takes a tiny variation in our forecast, and goodness knows we've seen them before, for them to drop below that. And then there could be other issues that Mr. Cameron might need to consider, and we'll just talk about that in a second. But we'll go to the opposition benches now. So we have Labour on 239. We bring on the SNP, and you can see them there, and a quite sensational result for them. Remember, 59 seats in total in Scotland. They've won all but one of them under our forecast. And at the last election, they only had 6 seats in total. So they've gone from 6 seats to 58 under Nicola Sturgeon. It is the standout result of the night, as well as what's happening between the two main parties. Now we bring on the others for you, and it's been quite a good night for Plaid Cymru, the Welsh Nationalists, who've gained a seat. And UKIP have 2 MPs under our forecast. Again, underlined, just a forecast at the moment. DUP in Northern Ireland, 8. And let's have a look at the others, which is the other Northern Ireland parties, and as David was saying, possibly George Galloway, we have on 11. Now, I mentioned the options for David Cameron. Let's just go back to this side for a second. If we have a situation where, as the night goes on, maybe the Lib Dems have suffered even more damage. Maybe they're down to 9 or 8, and suddenly, or the Conservatives have got fewer than those 316. What happens next? Well, he could ask for the DUP to join this coalition on this side, and he could try and bring them over to the government benches. But at the moment, under our forecast, even if you range all of these MPs together, including all the Labour MPs and the SNP MPs, they couldn't switch to this side and govern as a coalition because they do not make the 326 seats you need in the House of Commons for an overall majority. That's where we are at the moment with our forecast, and it leaves us poised, David, for a fascinating night.
Well, we shall see this as it takes place in the piazza outside Broadcasting House here in London, where we have a giant map. Sophie Rayworth will be down there,